Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. Well, we have a treat. Today we have with us Rosemarie Djuric, and she is a naturopath, iridologist, an herbalist, and she's also an equine herbalist. She does equine iridology as well, and she's really into horses. And so, Rosemarie, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Michael, for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure, and we interact almost every day in some way. I would say. And
yeah, bombard you with messages. Look at this! Look at this! Look at this!
Yes, yeah. You're definitely one of the people out there that's given me some good things to look at and to bring up topic wise. And so, really, what we want to talk about is quite a few things. Naturopathy, herbology, iridology, and everything going on as well in the world around us right now. Now, you have your own business, and
Yes.
it's Kalula Road, right?
Yeah, Kalala Road.
Kalula Road, okay. And so it's all sorts of natural products, and as organic can be in this day, right?
That's right.
Okay. So take us through some of the things that you guys do.
We dabble in a bit of everything. So the main focus for me is probably going back to the old school way, like our ancestors used to have as medicine. So, like as a prepper, that you would think if things weren't available as a pharmaceutical or things in general, what can I use that I've got around my area to keep me healthy, basically like that. So that's why I do a lot of teas, because as you know, in the olden days, that they used to do hot infusions. They used to boil them for about 15 minutes, whereas today the herbal extracts are basically the same but made with an ethanol base. So people don't understand that tea still is actually more effective than a lot of the medicines that we have out there.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. It's the herbs are our number one source of healing in so many ways, and have been for thousands of years. And I would totally agree with you on that. And so you do teas, and what other sorts of things do you guys do?
I do a lot of dry herbs, especially for the horses. I do a lot of mixtures up for them. Everything is made fresh, so we don't package anything and sell it. We have all the stock here, and then we make it up based on what they need, or even the teas. They're all made fresh as they get ordered. We do a lot of tissue salts. We sell a lot of them. As you know, I do iridology for humans and horses. What else do I do? I got a lot of tonics, but they're specific. They don't get advertised. Especially for horses, that they need a quick helping out. So you go over the tongue.
Awesome. And so you are in Australia.
That's right.
And so you've been experiencing some of the crazy weather we've been talking about.
Yeah, it's called beds are burning like midnight oil. Too hot and too humid.
Yeah, I saw some of your posts, talking about, just how hot it is there. It's been pretty brutal.
Yeah, I love hot weather, but this is just above and beyond crazy.
Well, I know that you're aware of all the changes that are going on in the world, because we talk about it and send links back and forth all day long. And so one of the things for people to prepare for is like when the grid goes down, and it's just a matter of when. And when society starts to break down, having some knowledge of things like what's available in your area is just going to be just so valuable. And as well as obviously try to stock up if you could on anything right now, and within whatever means you have available. It would definitely be something you don't want to skip on. Is we're always thinking food and water, but think medicine as well. And herbs are a very, very gentle yet effective form of medicine. Wouldn't you agree?
That's right. Yeah, 100%. Even having apple cider vinegar, that's a good thing to stock up on, because you can make a lot of medicines from apple cider vinegar. You infuse them for over at least good 6 weeks to get all the nutrients out of it. Essential oils, I would say, probably is a really handy tool to have, because you brought up many times that, like especially over in Canada where there was a shortage of grapefruit and you were looking for a grapefruit. And as you know, doTERRA and Young Living Oils, they have all those lemon oils, grapefruit, oranges. There's a vast variety of essential oils that you can have. You just keep them handy in your cupboard. So if there was that downfall of you didn't get a certain fruits or vegetables, at least you can go and top up them things in with your water, or you can use them for cooking. But you're still getting the nutrients that you need, because come down the track, they're going to be very important for our health.
Exactly. And now you have your own farm as well.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. It's just the last 3 years has been quite difficult for me because of injury. I'm still recovering, unfortunately, from doctor's negligence. So that's been on hold for the last 3 years, but trying to get back into it now. Like, I grow a lot of stinging nettle, which is probably one of my most favourite, or weeds, people would call it, but it's actually one of the most beneficial herbs that you can have around, because you can also cook with it. You just got to boil it in water. You can make it into you can put it into food as well.
Stinging nettle. Yeah, I've heard that.
It's one of my most favourite herbs.
So what are some things that you would strongly recommend for people to stock up on as far as that goes? Now, you said apple cider vinegar, most definitely, and some essential oils.
Yeah, even things around the house like pure borax is very good. It's come for down the future, especially now with all the particles in the air. A lot of people use borax for nanoparticles, just to get rid of all the mucus that's laying in the bowels, the yeast build-up. It's highly antibacterial, antifungal. It doesn't taste the best, and I wouldn't advise to drink it. A lot of people just put a pinch in the water, but it dehydrates you quite a lot. Best way to have it is actually in the bath over a week. Eliminates a lot of toxins out of the body.
Awesome. Yeah, nanoparticles are definitely a hot topic now, and we are definitely getting saturated with them.
Yeah. So people, you have to understand, when you start seeing the effects of the skin, that's all your elimination channels in your body are backing up. So all the toxic materials trying to release from your body. So unfortunately, your skin will be the last resort that will start showing all the effects. So that's why elimination and detoxing is really important, especially through the bowel. Tissue cleansing. It's a must.
So what type of cleanses would you recommend? What would you use to cleanse as far as that goes?
I use when we're in clinic, we use a lot of detox herbal tonics. I have one on the line that I sell, but I used to work with a guy in Parramatta named Will Shannon, Pinnacle Health. He's probably the guru when it comes to herbal extracts and detoxing the actual bowel. His father, unfortunately Eli, he passed away. I learned a lot from him, and he was one of my mentors. He was the one that actually probably inspired me to be a naturopath, because he was such an amazing person. Just even iridology wise, he just blows you, like things that you can't even get answers from the doctor. He'd answer you in like 3 minutes. I use a lot of different techniques. I use a lot of cream of tartare, and I'm sure you found out about that product the other day.
Yes.
That's really good toxin removal. Gets a lot of the fluid out of the body, especially now that it's humid. You probably find in Australia, it's all the aches and pains, your body starts to puff up. Cream of tartare is like a potassium bitrate, which is a byproduct they use in wine, but it's also great for adrenal fatigue. It really cleans the lungs, especially someone that's smoking and wants to eliminate cigarettes smoking. That's probably one of the best products that you can use to get the nicotine out of the blood.
And that's a part of baking soda, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, to make the eggs, like they put it with eggs to make it stick more, and put it in baking goods. What else is there? Sodium bicarb, always keep that handy, because that's a really good alkalizer for the body. Any issues that you have, it flushes everything out. It's more the sodium base, so that's really good for your digestion. And you usually take it about half an hour before you eat, just to give you the enzymes to make you break down your food.
Mm-hmm. And oh gosh, what's that other one? The clay is good for detoxing the bowels too. Bentonite clay,
yes,
right?
Yes, it is. Bentonite clay, and I also use the diatomaceous earth.
Yes.
That one's an actual dewormer, good for us and good for the animal. So I mix them together. I usually take that in the morning about 10 o'clock. Also, activated charcoal is very good to have on hand, but don't take that all the time, because it can, especially if you're on medication, it will interact, because it will absorb all the toxins, good and bad, and you can't have it with food. You've got to at least have it an hour to hour and a half before you eat.
Awesome. So yeah, it's with everything that we're being blasted with, in this world now, and like you were saying earlier when we were talking, even stuff that's organic, there's just so much all around us all the time. Is it really organic when we have all this, aluminum and barium, and you have the GMO? It's all around us. There's so many toxins all around us that to me, it feels like you have to be just constantly detoxing.
Yeah, you have to. Because I even question sometimes how they would do a soil sample, what analysis they would get. Sometimes I question organic. I know it's a lot of people will be upset and angry about it, but at the end of the day, if you actually go on, I'm not sure how your customs work overseas, but here we've got a website, the Australian Fisheries and Agriculture website, and if you're importing any goods from overseas to Australia, there's certain requirements that you must have before the product comes in. Even it doesn't matter if it's organic, any fruits or vegetables, any herbs, the same process that happens, and they've got to be like radiated or sprayed, just to make sure there's no bacteria, foreign objects. So people don't understand the process. So that's why I try not to import anything from overseas. I try to get all my products Australian based, so at least that we're not having that added issues of radiating the food or spraying the food with chemicals or herbs before they come to us as a customer. Yeah,
that's another reason why you should, try to buy local as much as possible.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I've seen that too. I've felt it. I could feel. It's almost like my cells start to clap when I give it something good. And so I've had some local produce that was not marked organic that felt better in the body than some organic that I've gotten from the big chain supermarket.
Yeah, well, with the process in Australia, to have a certified organic association, it's a very long process, and it's actually very costly. If you look at there's no small business that would be able to sustain to making their products organic. So the stuff that I have organic here, what I get from my wholesaler that I don't grow, they actually certified organic products, and they come with a label, and there's the special number that comes with it as well.
Awesome. Yeah, they get us coming and going. They really do with everything. And so the other thing that you do, and it's really kind of fascinating, is iridology. And I have up a chart from Dr. Bernard Jensen. And so right off the bat, to me, it's like, well, of course this makes sense, coming from a Qigong background and studying medical Qigong, where, everything, it's that the microcosm and the macrocosm, so to speak, because your foot contains everything, you could treat, all the areas of your body through your foot. Same thing with your earlobes, same thing with the hands. They all reflect different areas. And so it's the same thing with the eyes.
That's it. What I've learned from, again, was Eli, people that put earrings in their ears, when they pierce the ears, they don't understand they're actually piercing a lot of nerves that connect to the body.
Right.
So ear piercing is a big topic. I think it's just for fashion, but that's my opinion. But there's a lot of, I have my ears pierced, so I've taken them out, but he had one incident where he had a lady that they got pierced in the wrong spot, and it damaged the nerves to her chest, and she was constantly getting sick from lung infections. And he said to her, "Take that out. That's what's making you sick." And he was right.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, so iridology's been around. If you go back through the history, it's been around 1000 BC in ancient times with the Babylonian. So then it was like came about probably in the 17th century, where it started to get a little bit more light out there, and then it started with the 1800s, where they started to, a guy was doing some, was looking at an animal's eye, I think it was an owl, and he found out that the eye and the bone that was broken in the owl, you could see it through the eye, and that's how it probably eventually started.
Ah, very cool. So you do this on both.
I won't get into all the history. It's really complicated, but I can do a blog if people want to know about it. I can put it up on the website.
Sure.
On Facebook.
And you do it on horses as well as humans.
Yes, I do.
Very
This
cool.
was all got by accident, by the way, with the horses.
So I would guess that you would notice trends, with everything that we're being exposed to, through the chemtrails and the food and everything. You're probably seeing a lot of trends with people with, for instance, livers that need to be cleansed, things along those lines. Seeing the comments.
For me, I notice a lot of bowel issues very badly, because we're not eating the correct food. We're eating too much bread-based, not enough fiber, too much meat, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting stuff. So, tell us more about your personal prepping and plans, because as we know, there's so much going on now, and it does feel like things are coming to a head, in some ways. And I've shared obviously what we've done here as far as prepping and all. So how about yourself? What have you done as far as the prepping? And obviously it's a good thing to have a farm in the family. That's a plus.
Yes. Well, basically, it works twofold for me, because I've got to look at the human side of it as well as the horses. So I always tell the owners of the horses that always stock up extra bag of food, because as you know, the drought's coming. I just say it in an indirect way. I say, the drought is coming, and then you watch next year, you're going to be very scarce of food supply. So I stock up a lot of barley, even rolled oats. That's more for the horses. I just keep them aside, because I use a lot of that techniques to clean up the hindgut for the horses. I make a prebiotic remedy that I use with cinnamon, soak it overnight, then put some yogurt, put a bit of cinnamon and a little bit of applesauce just to clean them out. That's a natural probiotic for the horses. So I do a lot of old school techniques. Also, I've stocked up heaps of rice, beans. I make a lot of that into flour as well, just to stock up. Essential oils, I try to collect as many as I can. Also, a lot of powdered fruits and vegetables that you can buy, like broccoli powder, garlic powder, onions. You can buy pomegranate powder, strawberry powder, whatever you can get your hand on, because I use them a lot in smoothies. So if food is not readily available, you can have a water. You mix it, you're still getting all your vitamins and minerals. Also, I make a lot of capsules. So anything that I need, I usually, if I've got free time, I'll make a lot of capsules during the day and just put them in bottles and label them, because they're going to come in handy down the track.
Yeah, I've relied on a lot of smoothies over the course of time, and honestly, that's when I was having a couple of smoothies a day and very, very little food, that was some of the times when I felt best. Of course, I'd have so many servings of fruits and veggies in those smoothies, just nutrient packed, and it's almost like they're pre-digested because they're broken down so much. So
yeah, so it allows the body to rest and develop tone and vitality. It gives so it's allowing your stomach and digestion to to rest, because as you know, when you have a heavy meal or even eating, it takes a lot of vital energy to digest. So when you're having smoothies or even raw juices, that's probably the best way to get all the nutrients through the body. It's quicker. It's not really working the stomach that hard, or the vital energy within our body. So yeah, it'll help a lot.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. That's definitely a huge thing to do. As much live food as possible as well. I always feel like that just helps us, and helps with purging as well, keeping everything moving.
Yeah, a lot of raw foods hold a lot of enzymes, so that helps you break down your food. Like always have fruit in the morning for breakfast. That's probably the best time to have it. And then have like a bigger meal at lunchtime, and then probably a smaller meal at dinner, because you're going to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And just have your snacks in between, like dates or your dried apricots or a handful of nuts and stuff like that. You don't need to overdo it.
No, exactly. Plus, as we've talked about on this channel, caloric restriction, just extends life as well. So, that's like one of the positive sides of lack of food. As long as it's good food, eating a little bit less, it's gonna help the body last longer and also keep purging itself, especially with everything that we have that we're being exposed to. So
even fasting once a week, just to get into the habit of just giving the body to eliminate. It's probably the quickest way to eliminate toxins through the body as well. So just even fasting once a day, like once a week, and then gradually increase it. So you've got to probably make sure you have a lot of water so you don't get dehydrated. Can cause a lot of headaches as well, because people don't have to understand that a lot of toxins are moving through the body, so it will make you what we call a healing crisis, where you can get faster raised symptoms. It's like when you're doing a heavy detox as well, with tonics and herbs and raw juicing. So your body will go through stages. You get headaches, you probably feel tired, probably feel exhausted. You just need to sleep. Just have a rest. Just chill out, watch a movie.
Yep.
Yeah, because you get psychological changes as well as physical. Yeah, just allowing the body to have a rest. Let the toxins just come out by themselves.
Do you think there's, is there anything we could do to combat the effects of, say, 5G? Any sort of, any sort of
make
protocol?
You laugh. Maybe we have to get Rex's hat.
Yeah, right? Yeah, we'll all get our tinfoil hats on.
Look, I think a lot of it's coming out in Australia now. I see a lot of my friends on Facebook putting about the 5G, about the poisons of 5G, and I can tell you wholeheartedly that because I'm probably about 35 k's out of Sydney, I actually live right next to an army base, which is like 1 kilometre, not even 1 kilometre. I live next to the Holsworthy Army Base. So one of the farms, the Kalala Road farm, is probably 2 hours drive from Sydney. That's still a little bit rural, but still has a lot of electricity. People still can have TV. They have internet, but they don't have probably not as much as we do here, as in tower-wise. So then when you continue down, go past Canberra to a place called Nimitabel, it's Kumar, that's one of our cousins' farm. You can notice the difference straight away, because they don't have that infrastructure there where you've got big towers, you've got the electricity poles that they run on the main road, but nothing in the house, because everything is it's got to be run off a generator or a solar power energy. There's no you can't even get reception for the TV. And sometimes your actual phone reception is very hard to get. So, and you notice the difference straight away, that your energy changes, and any pains that you have in your body, they just disappear. So when you drive back, just say you're driving back home, like a 4.5 hour drive, as soon as you get back to the city, you can notice it straight away. It's very draining. You feel aches and pains. So there is definitely something going on with all this electricity and the Wi-Fi, and yeah.
Most definitely.
So I think probably the only way you can do it is turn off the Wi-Fi at night, minimize being around electronics as much. You need to probably go out and walk in the bush. That's a good way to balance your body back, energy-wise. Yeah, it's really hard to, don't know. You might even have to get a lot more acupuncture, just to help with all the energy points in your body. I know because of the kidney energy suffers, and especially with women, they have a lot of problem with the kidney energy. The chi, I think, is that chi and yin?
Yeah. Yes. Chi.
Yeah. Probably the best herbs to really help with those kind of problems. You need adaptogen herbs, and probably Siberian ginseng is probably one of the best herbs to keep your vital energy up. And also having black beans as well, because I learned this a lot from my acupuncture, and I dabble in a little bit of Chinese medicine because I do use Chinese herbs as well. And maca powder is probably the other one that we can have, especially for females, because it's full of all the vitamin Bs, and you need that for your hormone balance as well.
Awesome. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, we were talking about kidneys, and it's elimination organ, but our biggest elimination organ is actually the skin, and as you were saying, that's where it shows up. What's going on the inside in the skin.
Yeah, there's a lot of the times people, when they start getting a lot of chest infections, pneumonia, I know you overseas now you're having a lot of viruses. People have to understand that when you're stressing about all these changes with the earth and prepping, and it's gonna make you sick, because you're making your brain is constantly going 24/7, worry, but that's actually draining all the body out. So they need to just let it go, have faith. Things will work out the way. Whatever happens is going to happen. I think it's going to be at the spur of the moment, where you're not going to, something like 9/11, it's going to be one of those. That's my opinion. Because sometimes I'll sleep, I'll wake up, and I'll go, Juju, what happened last night? I'm thinking, oh, thank God, nothing.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's just, and everything with the feeling and the prospect of war coming, which feels like it's just around the corner. So, I went and got some potassium iodine tablets just in case, to have on hand. And is there anything else we could do? I mean, if we're talking about something along those lines.
Iodine is fantastic. You're going to need it for your thyroid anyway, especially when it comes to radiation. Now I've been hearing a lot of what's coming, like with the 5 waves energy. Like, as you know, Paul Begley always constantly has Mike from around the world on there, and it talks about the rain that's coming as arsenic. We need to really make sure that we start looking at our water, especially where you are. It's going to affect your gardens greatly. Even the clothes, you'll probably find if you leave them out on the clothesline, they're going to turn red. So that's an indication that the rain's changes. The rain's going to be very acidic. So you're going to have to start thinking about heavy metal detoxing the body. I know detoxing is one, but we need to emphasize more on the heavy metal detoxing, especially with greens like chlorella, spirulina. They're the types of herbs, or things that are going to actually eliminate all the heavy metal toxins out of the body. Garlic is another one. Sulfur foods, onions, that needs to be in your diet every day, raw as possible. And if people can't tolerate the sulfur, as in onions or garlic, because they've got an issue with the liver, they need to supplement with MSM, that sulfur, organic sulfur that they sell, MSM. That's probably one of the best detoxing. Yeah, that's for people that have liver issues. They can't tolerate sulfur.
So what do you...
even colostrum, that's another good tool to keep. That's helping. It's very good for your digestion and help with your immune system as well.
Colostrum.
Cod liver oil. I'm not sure if anyone knows about cod liver oil. Because of our vitamin D levels, it's probably not at the best, because, as you know, your vitamin D comes from the sun. With all the sun simulator, people are not getting the actual vitamin D into the skin through the bones. So they need to start supplementing with some cod liver oil, because it's naturally vitamin D, and it's got vitamin A as well. Helps support the eyes, in immune system, but it's also good for detoxing the liver as well because it assists with that.
Yeah, and cilantro is one of the ones that I love. It's my favorite herb, and I know that's
I
also
think we call that coriander in Australia.
Yes, yep, coriander. Most definitely.
See, a lot of these they can get these as in essential oil, so they're more concentrated. It's the ones that you actually get in the shop. So they do like a cold distillation, and I think what I've read is like up to 28 times more stronger than the actual product that you got in front of you. So you just need a drop. Just put it in the water.
Awesome.
And that way you're going to get it. Yeah.
So I don't have to eat 5 pounds of cilantro.
That's it.
So what do you think is going on with the ringing in the ears, and is there anything we could do to get rid of it? Because it seems like almost everybody I'm talking to has got it.
Here I haven't heard anyone with ringing ears. It's probably a lot of pressure build up, and I think that's more the 5G than anything, because it's all the waves that are coming, and again with the Planet X, Nibiru, that's also impacting on a lot of waves through the earth as well. So it's a very hot topic, that one.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So yeah, that's one of the things that we had talked about it possibly being was 5G related. So interesting. So you haven't heard many people out there mentioning it, but like here, it's like everybody in the States, and I think I've seen quite a bit too from people over in the UK. Gonna have to go back through some of the comments.
I find it funny, the Northern Hemisphere is getting a lot of more different symptoms than we are. I noticed people here got a lot of headaches. Get a lot more headaches, and more their moods change out of just like a split second. They could be very angry, then they'll be back to normal, and then just like, the moods are all over the place, so they're unpredictable. But I've noticed people with a lot of headaches.
Interesting. Yeah,
I don't know if it's because of the stomach connection to the brain. That's with meditation and Reiki. I don't deal with any of that. My friends do that, but I think it's connection because the stomach and the brain. I know a lot of headaches start with the gut.
Most definitely. So what advice would you give people, from your end as a naturopath and an herbologist, things that they should keep in mind and things that perhaps they should do in these times with everything that we're faced with?
Start looking at more going back to old ways where you can sustain yourself if anything happened with the grid going down. Learn how, like a lot of people don't even know how to make bread. Like in the kids of nowadays, I teach my kids how to cook as much as I can, but a lot of people don't know the basic elements of cooking, and in a lot of ways this will be your survival in the end, because a lot of all those nutrients, how you cook, you're not going to cook just for one or two people. I'm sure there's going to be countless people coming to you, I need food, I need this, I need that. So it's in our best interest that we must help everyone that we can. Detoxing is it's going to be an ongoing process, and they need to start thinking about their magnesium levels as well, because a lot of the physical changes and psychological changes that we're having, and disturbed sleep, we're losing our magnesium. People don't understand that they need up to 1,000 milligrams a day of magnesium. So I use the actual magnesium salt. I use a product called electromagnesium. It comes in oils, creams and salts. Same with horses. They're very deficient of magnesium because of the way the food, depleted soil, the way if you're not having enough raw foods in your diet. So it's stress of any kind. It could be drugs, chemicals, excess alcohol, temperature changes. Here in Australia, you're sweating like crazy, so all your electrolytes is just basically you're just sweating it out. So people with a lot of muscle pains and injuries, radiation exposure, dehydration. So yeah, magnesium is very important for everyone, and it calms you down as well and gives you a really great sleep. And you need it for the heart, insulin resistance, hypertension, people that have kidney issues where where the kidneys are suppressing all the calcium deposits, and they just sit in the joints. Leaky gut, chronic fatigue, headaches. So I think that answers some of the things about magnesium. So it's people, they need to just focus on more magnesium. It'll change them quite a lot as well. And especially when you're tired, you're going to go for more sugary foods to keep you going, and you get adrenally fatigued. Magnesium is probably the best way to curb any sugar cravings as well. Essential oils is you need to start stocking up. They're not expensive if you buy like lemons. There depends on in the countries that you can buy doTERRA or young levy oil. It doesn't matter where you buy them from, as long as they're food grade, and that you can have them in your food and drink. Tissue salts, I would say, is a really good help with a lot of issues within the body as well. You've talked about that many times. The 12 minerals that you need.
Mm-hmm.
Iron phosphate's good for the respiratory, keeping the make sure there's no inflammation in the body. What else can they also come in sprays. There's the Kali-Sulph is blood cleanser. There's quite a few things. What else can we think about? Baths is a great way to detox as well. Just soak yourself in the bath for about half an hour. Just put some clay, some borax. You can put sodium bicarb, Epsom salts, magnesium chloride, garlic powder, ginger, whatever you want, just to get through the skin. That's the quickest way to absorb anything that you want, is through the skin. That's why a lot of people now start to have oils and creams, vitamins and minerals. I'm not sure if you have the vitamin patches in America yet.
Vitamin patches? I'm not aware of it.
Yeah, there's a company in Melbourne. I've seen them at a show where they have vitamin D patches.
Oh,
just
wow.
like a little square. You can put them on the back. Yeah, but try to stay away from synthetic vitamins because they're not actually good for you. They can cause a lot of liver damage. They just tend to stay more with the raw foods and juicing, smoothies. That's how you're going to get your vitamins and minerals in your body.
And like you said, a lot of spirulina, chlorella.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like spirulina for some strange reason. They think it's too harsh on your belly. But it's not. Just take it in small doses to start with. I know the taste ain't great. I usually make them in capsules and just have them with my lunch. Because I personally don't like it in my smoothie.
Yeah, it takes a really yummy smoothie and makes it kind of Yes. But I have to admit, I had a couple of days going back to having, because I would have that in a smoothie every day, and I'd kind of have that for my first smoothie and then have a second one that was a little bit tastier. But just having it daily, it makes a huge difference in how you feel. It really does.
It does. I know there's a lot of people, that don't eat meat, but I used to make a lot of bone broths to the point where it gets too much. Because you got 24 hours, you got to boil it, and it stinks the house out. You got to constantly watch it, and that's really, really great. Thinking ahead, like when meat is not I know there were people that will still want to eat meat or go hunting or whatever it may be. That's their preference. They should, think about a gelatin based product where it's the same as a bone broth. It's really important because it's got a lot of amino acids that we need for our body to constantly keep our liver detoxing, and it's got lysine as well, where that's going to help with any viruses that we encounter, and especially heavy metals and stuff like that. So it helps with the tissue maintenance. Very good for athletes. We do give this to horses as well when they've got problems with their ulcers in the stomach, what they call. Helps with diabetes because too much carbs is, as you know, especially your blood type, a lot of foods that can interact with the lectins in the blood. So just try reducing a lot of carbs. I find this gelatin is actually amazing. Helps with the thyroid because it's got triserine in it. Manufacture your thyroid hormones. It builds a healthy immune system. Bonvite cartilage, I'm not sure if anyone knows, it's anti-cancerous. It also helps with cancers of the cervix, kidney, lung, and the prostate as well. And that's really in the old school books that we have with complementary medicine. They constantly talk about bonvite gelatin and actually making bone broths, how it is really good for you. Because it's got the collagen and elastin, which is very important for all your connective tissues as well.
Very good. Yeah, there's so much to really put together and think of, and with everything going on in the world, we need to be really on top of this all the time, because I don't know the percentage of us that are feeling a little bit off, but I think it's pretty high with everything we're being exposed to.
I feel exhausted every single day. It's just like a constant, I don't know, it's like weighing down feeling. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I just have not felt, like I shared with you, I really haven't felt like myself since the exposure to the red tide back about 8 months now, 7 months. Still really haven't felt like I usually do, which, I took pride in feeling as good as I did in my 20s, when I hit 50, and I think I was in, as good a shape at 50 as I was, in my 20s, for the most part. But this last 6 months or so, especially, it feels like it just feels like we're being forced to wear lead weights around our legs. It just it feels weighted down, heavy. And I do think that we could see the chemtrails in the air every day, and you see them down there as well, I would suppose. It depends. Sometimes you'll see them spraying overhead, but I think it's all done before we wake up, because you'll come and it's like all clouds everywhere, or very thin, like white, just to cover the sun. It's always where the sun rises, and in the afternoon, it's always around 2 o'clock they'll start spraying, but it's like way, way out in the bush. Mm. Yeah. So they just cover the sun going down in the afternoon. Well, they are definitely hitting us in many ways. Definitely. Well, sometimes I don't know how they live with themselves, to be honest. I just can't fathom how can people just be so cruel to everybody. I know, knowing what they know that they're doing to people, and again, I think that the average guy that's up in the plane doesn't even realize exactly what's going on. Probably not, above pay grade, just hearing rumors. But, at the highest levels, it's obviously they don't have any consideration for not only human life, but all the animals too that are being exposed to all these things. Yeah, they don't. Well, Rosemary, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your knowledge with us. And, maybe we could do this again in the future. And I'm going to have links up to your website. So if anybody has a question or want to check out any other products, they'll be free to do that. Just apologize in advance. I'm very nervous. No, you were great. You were great. I normally don't do this. You were wonderful. So I'm going to sign off for now, and thank you guys as always for joining us at Evolutionary Energy Arts. As always, thumbs up to support the channel. Subscribe if you haven't. Click the bell, get all the notifications, and share with as many people as possible. As we get deeper and deeper into this, it's so important to spread the knowledge, especially this type of knowledge of what to do and how to help ourselves get healthier and combat everything that we're being exposed to. Very, very important. Stay safe, my friends. God bless, and namaste.